Hi, I'm Jacob, and my junior summer project is about rockets. And I chose this project because I wanted to learn more about rockets, and I like to learn how to get in space. And I want to learn more because I think they're interesting, and I want to know how they get in space and how they launch. Inquiry-based questions are how are rockets made, how do rockets get into space, and what parts are there in a rocket, and what do they do? So there are four main parts in a rocket: the nose cone, the fins, the rocket body, and the engine. First, you need to find out what the rocket's going to do. Your design revolves around what your rocket's made to do. Second, you need to know what your mission parameters are. You need to research the best data to complete those missions. Next, you need to find other rocket designers and start brainstorming ideas for how you're going to build and design your rocket. Then you start drawing your design and testing what does and doesn't work. And when you're done with all those steps, then you have to choose what kind of rocket will be the best to complete your mission. Rocket designers have to choose how much power they will need, and the rocket with more power isn't always the best rocket. My second inquiry-based question is, how do rockets get into space? When a rocket is launched, the exhaust comes out of the engine and pushes on the surface to create the action force. When the rocket starts to fly and go in the opposite direction of the surface, it's called the reaction force. The rocket burns propellant and releases exhaust, making an upward movement called thrust. When the rocket launches, it needs enough force so that the amount of thrust is more than the amount of gravity placed on the rocket. A third and final junior sour inquiry-based question is what parts are there in the rocket and what do they do? Rockets have four systems that help them do all that they need to do. These systems are the structural system, the guidance system, the propulsion system, and the payload system. The guidance system is made of advanced sensors, computers, radars, and communication equipment to help maneuver the rocket while in flight. The payload system varies on what the rocket's purpose is. Some have been to carry fireworks, launch ballistic missiles, send satellites to space, and many other purposes. The last system is the structural system, and it is made up of light materials and has stringers from top to bottom that connect to hoops that go around the frame. Skin covers the frame and makes the shape of the rocket. This skin can be covered in a protection system that keeps the heat from air friction and sustains cold temperatures. There are also fins to keep stability during launch and flight. The propulsion system is the engine and fuel that propels the rocket into space. There are two types of engines, the liquid rocket engines and solid rocket engines. The V2 rocket used a liquid rocket engine made up of fuel and oxidizer tanks, pumps, a combustion chamber with a nozzle, and the associated plumbing. The Space Shuttle Delta II and Titan III all use solid rocket engines. Some other things that I've learned are when a rocket is released from a satellite, it waits until it gets to a certain height, and then the satellite will be released. And when the satellite is released, the momentum of the force that it creates tries to keep the satellite moving upward into space, but Earth's gravity pulls it down, so it starts to orbit Earth. Satellites need to go about 6,700 miles an hour to maintain orbit. I also learned some facts about the Apollo 11 mission. So this was the first successful crewed moon landing, and the rocket took 76 hours to reach the moon. Neil Armstrong was the first person to reach the moon, and Buzz Aldrin was the second person on the moon. The Apollo 11 spacecraft went 24,236 miles an hour. My setbacks were I wasn't at 212 for 4 weeks during this project, and since I wasn't here, I had less time to do research and less time to work on my presentation. It's also hard to find information and find good information for my presentation. And that's it.
Okay.